about the recent elimination of the second?
I don't know. I don't own any, so it doesn't really bother me.
The Third Amendment right in the United States not to have to quarter house troops in your own home. This was an issue during the Revolutionary War, where Americans were forced to actually do that, and their personal and private property and their rights were violated by the British government, and that was something that the American people were concerned with ever having to do again, and made part of the Constitution so those violations would never occur, and we could feel safe from having that ever happen. In many cases, the people don't feel safe with military infiltrating their own homes and their personal property, which is fair to say for most people, I think.
Third Amendment? No? I should. Seizure? In my personal opinion, I believe that search and seizure is necessary and should be allowed with only suspicion. You shouldn't need to get a warrant. But at the same time, I understand how people can take advantage of that, so yeah, I do believe it's necessary to have the Fourth Amendment. Thanks, you're welcome, Kyle.
It'll be quick. Okay. Do you feel that criminals should be exempt from the Eighth Amendment?
Why would I feel that way?
I don't know. What do you say about that?
The whole point of the Eighth Amendment was to ensure that they had some rights and that the government didn't go overboard. However, it's cruel and unusual punishment. I think that it's all open to interpretation. What was cruel and unusual 200 years ago is now considered something different now. All right, and what you can do, what each generation thinks is cruel and unusual is going to morph over time. It wasn't, for instance, hanging used to be a perfectly acceptable way of putting someone to death. Well, the problem, it encouraged an enormous amount of suffering. Well, as we started to lose effective hangmen, people who knew how to do it right, people started to really suffer, so they stopped hanging people because people said, you know what, this is starting to turn into cruel and unusual punishment. But when you say someone should be exempt from it, if that would mean to take someone's rights away. So let's say someone comes in and he's convicted of a crime. He still has some rights. He's now to be put to death. And it turns out that, well, sorry, we don't have anyone who could run the execution chamber effectively. So we're going to wing it today. Might work, might not. Well, you know what? We might be impinging on their Eighth Amendment rights if we just try to wing it today.
Do you support repealing the 13th Amendment?
Sure.
Yes?
Yeah, it's unjust.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Why do you think it's unjust?
I don't know. Yeah.
How important do you think that women's suffrage is across the nation?
I think it's important.
Yeah, why?
Well, I think that women are still struggling and fighting to find their place in the corporate world. Is that what we're talking about when you're saying suffrage?
So you want women to suffer?
No, I do not want them to suffer. Is that what we're talking about? Basically, by suffrage you mean, or do you mean like abusive relationships, or do you mean
Women's suffrage.
Okay, so the whole spectrum.
Yeah.
Okay, so no, I don't want women to suffer. That would not be good.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
How important do you think it is that we put a stop to women's suffrage across the nation?
Actually, it is very important because women abusing is very wrong and it's very hurtful for men, and it's a wrong thing for men to do. And I don't know why men do that, and it's just very wrong.
Do you think, as a senior in high school, the 26th Amendment is beneficial to you?
Yes. I would say it's awesome to be here for all the great memories that I had.
How beneficial is the 26th Amendment to our country?
Well, let's rephrase on what the 26th Amendment is. I do not know what the 26th Amendment is offhand. I would need to look into the Constitution.
He's honest. If you had to choose, would you pick to undergo the death penalty or capital punishment?
I think two you should be able to look into. I would say it depends on a case-by-case scenario. If you go death penalty, a lot of people feel that would be harsh. Corporal punishment, depending on the crime, could see some results in people to be a little more cautious of their actions, because if you steal, I believe in other countries you lose a finger or a hand. I would say it goes by a case-by-case scenario. But two are options that we should possibly look into to help reduce the amount of crime.
How important do you think the ex post facto is to people in today's society?
Okay, well, I could give you some BS fantabulous answer right
Okay,
now
go
with
for it.
big, huge, humongo words, but I'm going to be completely frank. I'm not familiar with that term. What is it?
Post
Either are you,
facto.
apparently. Yeah, I'm not familiar with that term. If you'd be willing to share the definition of that term, I'd be happy to share my
No
opinion.
can do,
No
sorry.
can do. All right, fair enough.
No, just use a bunch of big words, Miss B, and sound like an idiot.
No, I think I'll take a pass on that one.
Fine.
All right.